last kind of 6 to 12 months, there is a different energy. It seems to me that as a channeler, there is some kind of meeting point between the frequency that you bring through as a channel and what's going on in the world, or what's required. And I think for me personally, because the world has become more intense in the last 12 months, I've noticed they have a bit more edge.
I was going to say, it feels like they're rolling up their sleeves, like, you want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get going.
Yeah.
And because in the past it's been a little lighter, a little further away, and so, I mean, this, as you just mentioned, you've been working your little tail off. You've been all over the world. Every time I see you on Facebook or elsewhere, you're in some other country teaching your energy mastery work. And the Z's have been bringing through information about these times in addition to your normal range of work. And maybe just before we get into this larger subject, give us an idea of some of what they've had to say, because so many people are worried. Many people are feeling almost panicky, actually, about our future. So what did they say about this?
A couple of things that came up which struck me were they talked about ancestral clearing at these times. So, for example, some of the fears that people are having about what they're seeing going on in the world directly tap into other times on the planet that this has happened, that these kinds of, if you like, control situations have been rising to the surface, or countries have gone through real struggles, real conflict experiences. So they were talking about the difference between what will happen and what we perceive will happen, what we fear, and they talked about the power of our fear to eliminate old, stuck energy. So the idea being that if you're panicked that a certain thing is going to happen in this country or that country or on the world stage, it will directly tap into times that you remember, not just from your own other lifetimes, but that are in the collective energy memory field. So that hit me, because when I understood that, I started to notice any of my own fears and track them that way, and just really sit with what was going on inside my own body, just breathe through it, and to remember that all of this is so much bigger than the now, which is hard for us as human beings, right? We're in our identity, we're in our life, we're looking at the government, we're looking at our job, we're looking at our relationship, and yet the truth is, whenever you reconnect to the wider source energy, this is but one tiny dot. And so the one thing that they talked about in terms of this timeline, they said that it has been destined for a very long time. That, and I mean, you know, that's no news to those of us who've been tracking this kind of information, and that this period that we're going through is going to be intense, difficult, a period of dissolution, but it is that rising to the surface of all of the shadows that previously were hidden, or that people were more blind to. And it's a slow process, because if you look at the mass of people on the planet, there might be a certain percentage who are aware of all of this, another percentage who are just catching up, and then another percentage who it's more comfortable for them to believe this isn't happening, this couldn't be true. So there's a lot around shadows, lies, truth that is really intense for people, and it causes very deep emotional reactions.
Yeah, it's interesting, because about maybe 9 months